How's it going, Knicks fans? Welcome back to another episode of Fireside Knicks. I'm your host, Dylan Becker, and I'm joined by my brother and co-host, Justin Becker, as usual. And today, the New York Knicks got their third straight victory, defeating the Charlotte Hornets in blowout fashion, 129 to 107. Pretty much took complete control of this game after the first quarter. Very fun win. Yet again, the Knicks are on a roll right now. Lots of good vibes around this team. We're going to talk about all those types of things, but without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Justin. He's going to give us his game recap and some of his biggest takeaways from this victory over Charlotte. So go for it.
Yeah, as you alluded to, this was another great overall team win for the Knicks. They just came off a great team effort against the Spurs where they put up a whole lot of points, just dominated from start to finish. This was more of the same. The Knicks kind of kept this game kind of close throughout the first half. It was a 10-point game at halftime. You felt like the Knicks could have been up by a little bit more. Just some sloppy play towards the end of the first half kind of caused that. But the third quarter and the rest of the second half, they just pulled away and showed that they are the superior team, which is exactly what they are. The Knicks are a way better team than the Charlotte Hornets. I don't know why the Charlotte Hornets were ever in the same conversation as the Knicks. Quite frankly, the last two seasons, the Knicks are far superior than them. They showed that yet again today, blowing them out by 22 points. I don't even think, did Randall and Brunson even play in the fourth quarter? They hardly played in the fourth quarter at all. You know what I mean? So just overall, just a great team win. And it's very good that those guys got some rest because we have the Celtics tomorrow. And that's going to be a very tough one. It's going to be a fun game, but it's going to be a very tough one. Just some things to highlight from this game. Julius Randle, third straight, great performance, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 8 for 16 from the field, only 1 for 4 from 3, but overall, very efficient game from Randle. He was just a force in the paint, especially in the second half. It felt like he was just taking over the game. I believe he had like 2 or 3 straight plays in the third quarter where he just rolled down the lane and got an and one. And then he, oddly enough, called to get a sub, which was kind of strange, but he was probably tired, man. I mean, he was working. He was a bully down there. So just another great game from him. Finally looking like the Randle from last year consistently. This is the third straight game now that he's looked pretty good. So much more encouraging to see that. We obviously heard his comments earlier this week where he talked about the ankle injury that he suffered last season kind of still bothering him, kind of trying to still get in the field, the rhythm of things, and now it looks like he's finally getting in that rhythm, and I expect him to be better going forward. I expect more of this play that I've seen the last 3 games than what we saw the first 4 or 5 games where he was historically bad. So very encouraging things from Randle. Jalen Brunson, just another good game from him, 7 for 12 from the field, 20 points, 2 for 4 from 3. Just another awesome game from Brunson. We know what he does. We know what he brings. By the way, Randle and Brunson only played 27 minutes in this game. They did all of that in just 27 minutes of action. That is just a very efficient game. You really like to see that. So I'm very pleased with those two in this one. RJ Barrett just continues to play at a very high level. 24 points, 9 for 16 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3. RJ Barrett is shooting 50% from three-point land this season. If you would have told me that a couple months ago, I probably would have thought you were crazy or weren't watching the same player, because honestly, RJ doesn't even look like the same player that we've been watching the last few years. He's in a completely different mode right now. He's reading the defense while he's taking his time. He's taking great shots. He's playing efficient. I mean, I've never seen him play this efficient at any point in his career. I believe he's shooting 49% from the field, 50% from 3. Like I just said, he's knocking down his free throws. I mean, he's playing at a different level right now. This is exactly what we've been waiting for RJ Barrett. And, there's not really much else I can really say about it. Every game we talk about how great he's playing, and he continues to do it. He continues to play great. So far, he hasn't had a bad game this season. He's really been the most consistent Knick this season, other than maybe Mitchell Robinson. Those two have been the most consistent Knicks. So very encouraging from RJ. I think that year 5 leap is real. I really do. He's building a most improved player case. Obviously, Cam Thomas would have been, the leading candidate for that, but he's going to miss some time. So who knows if Cam Thomas misses a whole bunch of time and doesn't come back looking like the same player where he was, scoring 30 points every night, 45 points like we saw the other night, then, RJ Barrett could very well vault himself into the most improved player conversation, man. He's playing at a very high level right now. Very pleased to see that. Immanuel Quickley, man, that guy, what a player Immanuel Quickley is, man. 17 points, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, 5 for 9 from the field, 4 for 6 from 3. He's playing with an extra chip on his shoulder because he didn't get paid this offseason. You really question maybe how he would respond to that, if it would affect his game, if it would motivate him a little bit. So far this season, it seems to be motivating him. He's off to a pretty good start this season. He's off to a really good start, to be honest. So I expect him to be in the 6th man of the year conversation again, the way he's playing, to be honest. So very pleased with what I'm seeing. Just all in all, great team win. There's really nothing negative to say about anybody. Everybody was great again. This is a full team effort. You really didn't feel like it was just one guy kind of stealing the show and everyone else just watching and having off nights. No, this is a total team effort, 9-man rotation, 9 strong, if you will. Just overall great team effort, back-to-back amazing games, back-to-back amazing games, if we're being honest here. So very pleased with that. We're rolling going into Boston tomorrow. So I'm expecting the Knicks to compete hard tomorrow and hopefully pull off 4 straight wins. That would be great. If they can pull off another win, if they can pull off a win against Boston, that would be great. I thought they should have beat Boston on opening night. They played them tough until the very end. Honestly, they really should have won that game. So I don't think that, Boston is in some other world other than the Knicks. You know what I mean? I don't think they're galaxies away, in terms of contention or anything. I think the Knicks they're obviously not on the same tier as Boston, but they're not far off. I think they can beat Boston. I think they can hang with Boston. I think they can handle them. I think all of that. So, all in all, another great team win. Hopefully we see more of it tomorrow.
Yeah, first off, as usual, great takeaways. I thought you hit, every single point that needed to be touched on. And, I really want to just say that I think it's time we need to bring back the mid-3 moniker to Brunson, Barrett, and Randall, because, this is 2 straight games, not all 3 scored, at least 20 points, which is something that happened, I think, like 12 or 13 times last season. And I saw a thing on the MSG broadcast. Their record when that happens is like 11-3. So obviously when those 3 are playing well together, the Knicks win a lot of games, right? And that's what happened today. So yeah, I think we need to bring back the mid-3 moniker. And if you want to add quickly to the mix now, we can call it a mid-4 for all you want. So that's something I wanted to say first off. And, secondly, I wanted to bring up Randall. The last 3 games, he's really bounced back. Over the last 3 games, he's averaging 24 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, even a steal per game, and the Knicks are 3-0. He's playing well on both sides of the ball. I think that really needs to go, noticed here. I think we need to mention that it's not just like he's doing better offensively. No, he's playing better defensively as well. We know Randall is not like, the world's best defender. We know he's not like some intimidating force on the defensive side of the ball, and most of his game comes from the offense, but seeing him play better defensively, especially after the first few games of this season where it looked like he wasn't really giving it 100% on that side of the ball more specifically, it's really encouraging to see him play better defense and just, flow with the game better than he was the first 5 games of the season. I think he, like you said, he's in a much better rhythm right now. He looks more comfortable. He looks more comfortable taking shots. He looks more comfortable going into the paint. He looks more comfortable being aggressive, getting rebounds and all that stuff. He just looks more comfortable, period. He looks like the Randall we saw last season, and that's what I want to see. And like you said, I expect this going forward. And if he ends up taking another step back in the next game or the next few games, then yeah, I'm going to start to be worried again, because I don't want to jump the gun right now and say, oh yeah, he is 100% back, because 3 games is a relatively small sample size. But I am very encouraged by what I'm seeing over these 3 games. So just want to point that out there. And as you mentioned, another good team win. I mean, a lot of these wins they've been getting lately have been all around team efforts. It's not like one guy is carrying the load and basically carrying us to wins or anything like that. Like for a good portion of last season, it felt like Brunson was being that person, or even Randall at times. Right now, I mean, the whole team is doing their part. Even if they're not lighting up the stat sheet, guys like Dante DiVincenzo and Josh Hart are playing impactful roles right now, especially on the defensive side of the ball. With those 2 guys especially, I really think that they're a big reason why our defense is so good right now. I believe the only team in the NBA with a better defense than the Knicks might be the Timberwolves, but that's really about it. It's really the Knicks that control the East in terms of defense, right? And I really think that bench unit with Quickly, Hart, and DiVincenzo, 3 guys that hustle a lot, that really play strong together, that move around quick, they play with pace and energy. I really think that they're a big reason why it's so good. And of course, the improvements to RJ Barrett on that side of the ball, and Mitchell Robinson especially. I mean, today in this game against Charlotte, I mean, those guys just intimidated the Charlotte Hornets on the offense. I mean, there was a few possessions, especially in the second half, where Charlotte was like afraid to go up on Mitchell Robinson. Like they were putting up shots way short in front of him. They were like passing out of layups where they could have had, even though he was right there. Mitch was altering shot attempts. Barrett was playing strong defense too, forcing difficult shots out of Charlotte. I mean, I was just really impressed overall with all of it. I think, the collective effort is just there 100%. I think everyone's playing cohesively well as a unit. I think everything's clicking right now. Yes, there are certain things maybe you want to see more of. For example, maybe you want to see Quentin Grimes get involved a little bit more in the offense. But I mean, the Knicks have like 4 or 5 guys that they look to go to ahead of him. And I mean, it's been working. So as bad as it sounds, I don't think they really need to really adjust anything right now in that regard, because I mean the style that they're playing right now is working and they're winning games. The first few games of the season, their biggest problem was efficiency. They weren't moving the ball enough. They weren't, taking good shots, a lot of low percentage looks. They weren't hitting shots, especially. Now they're moving the ball better. They're moving the ball efficiently too. They're turning it over less, and they're hitting their shots. Those big things right there, obvious. It's pretty obvious. It's self-explanatory. But when you do those things, you are gonna win a lot of games, and the Knicks can really hang with anybody. Even though the last two wins that the Knicks had were against the Spurs and the Hornets, two teams that are quite frankly going to finish at the bottom of their conferences, they've proven that they can still hang with anybody. As you said earlier in the open, they almost beat Boston on opening night. Quite frankly, should have beat Boston on opening night. They almost beat Milwaukee. You could say they should have beat them too, because they honestly had played better than them in the second half of that game. They beat the Clippers by 20 points, so that's positive right there. They've beaten the Cavs already this year at least once. So they've clearly proven they can hang with any opponent, and the opponents that they should be beating, like the Hornets, they're destroying. They're not just beating them; they're destroying them, which is good. That's what you want out of a good team. Right now, the vibes are just so much better than they were last week when the Knicks were like 2-4 and were really struggling to get their offense going, especially. The vibes are so much better now. The shots are falling. They're still playing great defense. Now they have a winning record. They're 5-4 season. Yes, they got a tough opponent tomorrow against Boston on a back-to-back, but I'm honestly more excited for this one given how they've been playing of late, and now that everybody seems like fully healthy and actually seems to kind of get in the rhythm a little bit and everything's clicking. I'm really excited for it. I really think it's going to be a good game. I'm not going to sit here and say the Knicks are definitely going to win that game, because Boston is a very, very good team. We have already seen them once this year, so we know how good they can be. But, as I just said a minute ago, the Knicks can hang with anybody. So I really think the Knicks have a strong chance tomorrow. But, without further ado, I'm just going to pass it back to Justin, if he's got anything else he wants to add, and, if he wants to preview a little bit of tomorrow's game against Boston, because I think it's going to be a very good game at the TD Garden.
Yeah, I kind of just wanted to touch on one thing. I want to talk about Dante DiVincenzo. He's been kind of a seamless addition really to this team, kind of reminiscent of Josh Hart last year. When Josh Hart got traded, he fit in right away. There was no growing pains that came along with him or anything. He fit in right away with the bench unit, and I think Dante DiVincenzo is doing the exact same thing. Obviously he's kind of replacing Obi Toppin from last year, and I personally think I already see that it's a clear upgrade. It already feels like a clear upgrade to me. He's fitting in right away. Last year with Obi, and really throughout Obi's entire tenure with the Knicks, you kind of questioned like, okay, what's his role? What's his role today? Is he going to get a lot of shot attempts? Is he going to, is he going to be rolling to the basket? Is he going to get any lobs? Things like that. You kind of question his role a little bit. DiVincenzo, on the other hand, is a seamless addition. Really, he looks like he's been here really the entire time. The chemistry is already there with the bench unit. Like I said, no growing pains with him. Just like Josh Hart, these guys you could plug them in and they fit right away. I think that's huge for the Knicks, especially chemistry-wise, because we basically are bringing the entire team back from last year aside from DiVincenzo. So, you kind of question for a minute, okay, how's he going to fit in with a bunch of guys who have already been playing together for a while, but it looks like he was here last year. If you told me DiVincenzo was on the team last year, I'd have believed you because he's fitting in just perfectly. You know what I mean? So, and it's really good to see early on, especially this early in the season. Later in the season, it's going to be even better. So I'm very excited moving forward with that. I just wanted to touch on that really quick. But, looking ahead to Boston tomorrow, I'm really interested to see how they're going to handle Kristaps Porzingis. Kristaps Porzingis was really I'm going to say he was the X factor in the opening night game. He had a lot of points in that game. He really killed the Knicks just his presence on both sides of the floor, defensively and offensively. He was just a force in that game. I'm really interested to see how the Knicks are going to handle him this time, especially after Mitch just dealt with Victor Wembanyama, who has a similar play style to Kristaps Porzingis, as we know, and Mitch just shut him down. So I'm kind of interested to see if Mitch is going to take on the challenge this time and really keep Porzingis out of the game and make sure that he isn't the X factor this time. Make someone else beat you, because Porzingis was just a problem last time that the Knicks saw them on opening night. So that's really all. That's my main takeaway for tomorrow. I think it's going to be a close game again. It's going to be a very tough game. I think the Knicks can win, though. I'm not going to sit here and predict them to win, because the last time I did that, they lost. So I'm not going to predict any W's or L's or anything. But I think it'll be a close game. It'll be a hard-fought game. And yeah, it'll be another test for the Knicks. They've played two opponents in a row really who are inferior to them. They played the Spurs and the Hornets today. So those are inferior opponents. You know, you really feel like the Knicks should blow them out, and that's exactly what they did. But now they're going to go back to facing contenders. You know, they had a very tough schedule to start. I believe they actually had the toughest schedule in the NBA to start. They faced Boston, Milwaukee, Cleveland twice, Atlanta. I mean, that's a brutal start to the season. And the fact that they're 5-4 through these first 9 games, very positive sign. You know, they didn't fall too far under. You know, I mean, they're not currently sitting at like 2-7 or something like that. So very encouraging moving forward. I think they can hang with anyone. I expect them to compete hard tomorrow and possibly come out with a win.
Yeah, no. First off, I really think Dante DiVincenzo needs a lot more respect. Some people who will want to look at the stats will go, "Oh, he's not really putting up that many numbers, though. He hasn't averaging that many points. This, that. His shooting numbers are kind of lower than what we expected." DiVincenzo is a very, very impactful player, and I think if you guys are actually watching all the games, you will see that. I'm not denying that people aren't seeing that, but I feel like there are some people that are looking at his box scores and going, "Oh, well, he's not doing a whole lot." No, he's doing a ton. Dante DiVincenzo is everywhere on the floor, especially the past few games. He's been everywhere. I mean, it's been phenomenal to have. It's really a gift to have right now. I'm really pleased that I was pleased that we signed him to begin with. I knew he was going to be an impactful force, but I also didn't think we were going to see his impact this soon. His impact right now, it's been phenomenal. Like you said, it's only going to get better from here. It's not the more and more he plays with these guys, the more and more the chemistry will improve. And I think it's also a luxury for the Knicks to have where they can kind of just plug in anybody into that rotation, into any unit, and kind of mix and match rotations. Like I've seen, Randall run with the bench unit and it's worked well. Bear obviously running with the bench unit, it's worked well. Even Brunson's running with the bench unit a couple times and it's worked well. Seeing lineups like that, having the ability to kind of plug in whoever you want and just throw them into the rotation at any point and kind of just, mix and match the lineups however you please. That's a great luxury to have, and it really is a testament to their depth that they have on this team. And I think depth goes a long way. Obviously you want some star power, and the Knicks right now have a little bit of star power, maybe not superstar power, but they have some star power. But the guys are playing well together, and I think that does go a long way. If you look at a team like the Denver Nuggets, they obviously have a superstar in Nikola Jokic, but then the rest of the guys, last season none of those other guys were even all-stars, and they ended up winning the championship. So sometimes all it takes is a team playing well together to really get far. And I'm not saying that, right now, 9 games into the season, that the Knicks are looking like a finals team. No, I'm not making that kind of prediction right now. I don't want to make that clear. But, if they continue to play well together, this team can hang with anybody. They can beat anybody. They can pretty much, like I just said, they can defeat anybody. And they can really get far if they really please to do, have aspirations to do so. So, just really excited for what's going forward, and without further ado, I guess I'm just going to wrap this up. Thank you guys for tuning to this episode. We really appreciate you guys' support. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this YouTube video, and follow us on all of our social media platforms. We're on X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and of course this YouTube page. The audio versions of these podcasts are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating on those. Let us know what you guys want to say about this game against Charlotte. We would love to hear what you guys got to say, and also about tomorrow's game against Boston. We'd love to hear that as well. Make sure you guys, like I said, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe on this video. I already said that, but I'm gonna say it again, and we'll see you guys in the next episode of Fireside Knicks. Peace out.